Greetings once again, my friends, and wow, what a long, strange trip it's been for our first 12 days of anime, and our final character is, in some ways, expected but not. Existing subscribers know my love of Mobile Suit Gundam, and they knew that there was going to be a character that would show up from that franchise, they just didn't know who, and that's why I decided to showcase so many other characters before I did this, but I had to acknowledge Gundam. I am a mecha fan, I am a Gundam fan through and through, and on the 12th day, literally Christmas Day, I give you my number 12 pick, Kira Yamato from Gundam Seed and Gundam Seed Destiny. Now, Kira is one of my favorite characters to be able to talk about in anime. One of the main reasons being is that over my life watching anime, what I have perceived to be a hero, what I've perceived to be a villain, have significantly changed now that I'm an adult, now that I'm a father, now that I'm a husband, and this is actually one of those perfect examples of a change of opinion when it came to characters. When I initially walked into Gundam Seed, my favorite character was Zala, and part of that was because of the arc that he went through to be able to realize that he probably wasn't on the winning side when it came to all of the events that transpire throughout all of Gundam Seed. However, in Seed Destiny, he does make a lot of decisions that I feel counteract the character development that he showed in Seed. However, as I kept getting older and in my 20s, I started to look back on Kira, a character that I didn't like, and actually for reasons that I tend to not like characters like Shinji Ikari for, is that they tend to complain way too much, especially when the situation is dire and their very survival depends on them getting in the damn robot. And people might have even acknowledged that in my Drak and Shadow channel, which I do with the Shadow Blazer, who's also doing the 12 days, as well as on my own channel, I do tend to think that Kira Yamato, to me, is Shinji Ikari done right. And part of that is because of the arc that he goes through. He starts off pretty much like Shinji, a reluctant hero. He does not want to get into the war between Zaft and the Earth Federation. He doesn't even want to acknowledge that it exists. He wants to sit back and work on his textbooks as well as all of the courses and little details that his teachers want him to do. He just wants to be a student. He doesn't want anything other than that. In fact, when you first meet him, I don't even think he knows where he's going in his life. And then he gets thrust into a war he didn't want, and it just so happens that he is a coordinator, a genetically modified human that is able to pilot mobile suits, as well as be able to handle complex algorithms and be able to do all the computer stuff that you see him do throughout all the series. He is a superior human compared to his human friends, Tal, Sai, Flay, Mirialia, and so on. But now he's thrust into a position that he never wanted, and I'll admit, he mopes around about it, he really does. But then he starts having these incidents happen, like with a little girl who tries to show him kindness, eventually dying in re-entry to Earth. He also has people trying to manipulate him, like Flay Ulster, and it's why I don't really like Flay, which ultimately culminates in him having confrontations left and right with his best friend, Zala. And finally, after the murder of Tal, and after he actually murders Athrin's friend Nicole, they finally duke it out and presume that the other has been killed by their hand. And at that point, that's when they all ultimately decide they don't want to be part of war. They want to either escape from it or not have to deal with any of the actions that they have committed while fighting this war. And Kira's development actually happens a little bit more in depth because of his contact with Lacus Clyne. Because Lacus tries to reassure him in the fact that he can still be the kind person that he is while being a noble defender. He doesn't have to take life. He doesn't have to do the things that he sees war is evil for. He can instead go another way. Hence why I love the fact that when he is given a whole new mobile suit, the Freedom, he instead decides to do everything within his power to not kill his opponents. He doesn't deliberately aim for the cockpit. He will instead behead or disarm, literally, any mobile suit that comes across his path, and given the power of the Freedom itself, he's able to do this, and it works, and it's actually a viable deterrent. which is saying a lot considering that the Freedom is loaded for bear. I'm not usually a lover of gun-based mobile suits, which in some cases the Freedom is and the Justice counterpart isn't. And the Justice counterpart is more what I like, a melee-typed mobile suit. The Freedom works in the fact that he has all of this amazing firepower at his disposal, and he uses it to gently disarm people and get them out of the war zone, to get them to stop fighting, which then starts up the Gundam Seed equivalent, the Three Ships Alliance. Basically, 3 ships coming together and acknowledging that the war between Zaft and Earth Federation has gone too far, and they need to step in. And it's even appropriate for them to do so. They have the Archangel, which is an Earth Alliance vessel. They also have the Kusanagi, which is an orb-made vessel that is just below the Archangel class, and even better, they also gain the experimental warship The Eternal from Zaft, led by Lacus's little alliance and little band of soldiers that are against Zaft's current beliefs. So the 3 Ships Alliance is ultimately what ties all of that together, and one of the reasons being is Kira's philosophy to never have to kill again. If he has to, then he will. He knows that he can, but he doesn't want to, and he acknowledges that he doesn't want to. But now that he has so much amazing power at his disposal, he's willing to do what is necessary. But on his terms, not by Zaft's, not by the Earth Federation's, not by Atherin's, not by anybody's decision but his own. And that signifies a lot of character development that happened with Kira over the course of the series. Now, I should probably mention I've been talking mostly about Seed. In Seed Destiny, Kira doesn't really have a whole lot of character development. He is who he was at the end of Seed. Nothing really has changed in that regard. But ultimately, when you go through Seed Destiny, a character like Kira is necessary, as a lot of characters within the 3 Ships Alliance, as well as in the new Zaft and the new Earth Federation, have lost the beliefs that they gained originally with the 3 Ships Alliance in the latter half of Gundam Seed. And so at that point, to have that solidarity, to be able to have that rock to be able to lean on in Kira Yamato, ultimately helps in being able to show that he still is in the right path. He just isn't going to change because the times will it. In fact, he's probably one of the best things that happened to that series, as he actually provided a worthwhile opponent for Shin Asuka, both on the actual battlefield as well as on the battlefield of ideas. In fact, one of the things I really enjoy about the true ending of Gundam Seed Destiny is Shin Asuka finally meets Kira Yamato. And for Shin, that's a powerful thing. The Freedom was involved in the murder of his parents and sister. Kira didn't know that. And so Kira can still approach him as a friend, and Shin can still accept him as a friend. Overall, what I'm trying to tell you guys is Kira is an amazing character with an amazing arc that can be done even if you've only seen Gundam Seed. It's an amazing arc to be able to go through. And for those who are at least interested, I would say go and see the episodes of Gundam Seed Destiny and see how Kira tends to be the rock for everybody else's tumultuous feelings, and at least he can sit there, have his hand on their shoulder, and help them in whatever ways that he's able to, whether it be that he pilots a godlike mobile suit, or if he's just there to listen and to offer some advice. And that's going to go ahead and do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this amazing journey. It has been a fun time. I hope you guys have enjoyed it too. Thank you to my existing subscribers as well as to the new ones that have joined because of the 12 Days of Anime. I really do appreciate your support and your patience. It's been a long process, but we're finally here. And I'd just like to wrap things up by saying thank you for watching, and happy holidays to whatever you celebrate. Happy time spent with family. Happy time spent with friends. Enjoy those moments, as they will carry you on into the next year. And with that, I bid you all adieu, happy holidays, and we'll be back again in 2019.